Welcome to NET Vaper Reviews. When it comes to mouth to long RTA, that is my prime vape during the day, and especially with naturally extracted tobacco, that is my main vape during the day. I am very choosy when it comes to choosing a new mouth to long RTA. First of all, I've got quite a lot of top of the range mouth to long RTAs already. So if I buy another mouth to long RTA, it must be something special. And that's what the review today is all about. The Spica Pro mouth to long RTA. Now, before I start this review, I must tell you, this is a clone. The original is designed by Sirius Mods, S-I-R-I-U-S Mods, in Turkey. Superb mouth to long RTA, but it is very expensive. 130 euros before shipping. Now, the money itself wasn't an issue so much for me. It's the amount that I spend for a mouth to long RTA when I've got so many good ones. That's what stopped me. I didn't feel the need to spend 150 euros for a new mouth to long RTA. After consulting in top professionals in mouth to long RTA, a guy who is he's got all the information of every single mouth to long RTA out there, he advised me to go for the Coppervape Spica Pro style mouth to long RTA. In all intents and purposes, it's exactly like the original. And the box that it comes in is this one here. Nothing extraordinary, but what's in it, the tank. When was the last time you had a mouth to long RTA that you could adjust your throat hit and the intensity of the vape by a simple tool called the CHAK? Yeah, you can even put it on your keychain. By putting this down your mouthpiece and you turn clockwise, you lessen the intensity of the vape. If you turn anti-clockwise, you increase the vape, the intensity of the vape, and a much stronger throat hit and more defined flavor by simply turning this tool here. You'll see it all in the close-up, how it all works, because you've got a chimney, another chimney in it, and in the second chimney you've got another dome that simply turns. When you twist this clockwise, it's lowering down and condensing the chamber. If you turn it anti-clockwise, it goes back up, it lifts and increases the chamber, and that straight away you notice the difference in the vape. To change your juice flow is through your mouthpiece. By turning your mouthpiece, you open and close your juice flow, as you can see. Here's the juice flow. The airflow inserts, it's a 510 inserts with star and little grooves in them. They allow the air to get in right below the coil, so you're getting the full flavor of the coil. You get 3 inserts, you'll see it in the close-up, a 0.6 millimeter, 1 millimeter, 1.4. This is a true 100% mouth to long RTA, pure mouth to long RTA, and the flavor is just superb. The airflow is smooth, butter smooth. You only hear the crackling of my core Clapton coil in here. If not for the crackling, it would have been as silent as the Fev. That is also a clone. In here I've got a round wire so you don't hear it. Here's a fuse Clapton, a core Clapton, so it's fused, so it crackles. If not for that, smooth as my Bishop. As the well, I'll go through after the close-up. We'll talk about that. Superb mouth to long RTA. I don't want to get carried away yet, so let's go first to the close-up. I changed a few things in regards of the wicking. I will explain that after the close-up. When I came to dry fire the coil, I had a bit of a problem in the close-up. The insulator on the 510 pin, that is the air insert, wasn't done right. I didn't put it in correctly and I didn't tighten it correctly. So bear with me those 2 minutes while I'm trying to find the problem why the coil is not registered on my coil master. And I'll see you right after the close-up. We'll talk about this amazing, that I'm super happy with, the Spica Pro mouth to long RTA. I'll see you in a minute. So let's have a closer look at the Spica Pro mouth to long RTA. Right, so that's where you get it in the box. Nothing fancy, but the main thing is it's the RTA itself. So we'll put aside the RTA and we'll have a look at what you get spares. This is the airflow inserts. Now these are the 510 pins, and what you get is with your parcel, when you buy this tank, you get 3 air inserts in total, and they're all identified by the star shape, how many grooves there are. So this is the 5 and this is the 3, and inside the tank is the 7. So the 3 is a 0.6 millimeter. So this is absolutely you know, moused along, even too tight. Now you can see where the grooves are. So the air comes in from all these grooves and give you a proper mouth to long. The other one is got 5, and we'll see soon on the deck is a 7. So I'm going to use the 7 because these are quite mouth to long, fairly tight. So we'll try with the 7, and if I need to adjust, I could always adjust on the external airflow as well. You get O-rings, loads, 2 more screws, and an insulator for the 510. Yeah. So that's that. And now this, we'll see soon. This is one of the amazing things about this tank. Okay, we'll see soon. And this is a acrylic spare. Now this holds 4 mil. Okay, so let's put things away and let's have a look at the star of the show, the tank, and its full glory. Now I obviously took it apart and I VG'd everything, so you might see a bit of VG here and there. The glass is not perfectly shiny, but it's not easy to take off this glass, so you need to lubricate everything. So where do we begin with this tank? Right, let's have a look first at the top. Now the 510, as you can see, has got 2 little sort of little things sticking out. Yeah. Now this has got a purpose, because if you look inside, you can see these little, I just want to lose this, grooves inside. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, so what happens is when you put in your 510 and it clicks into place, now watch this juice flow. You see how the juice flow opens and closes. So when we take it apart, we'll see this better. Now this also comes apart. So it's a 2-piece mouthpiece. This is a very comfortable mouthpiece. Now this, you can see my nail broke a bit by trying to open it. See, you've got these grooves on top. Now when you first get it, it's very tight. So what you need to do is you dig in your fingernails and you push it that way, and that's why I damaged my fingernail, but I didn't want to cut it all the way because I thought I'll need it for this review. So I kept it. But yeah, so you open this and then I put in loads of VG on the threading around here and around here, so that keeps it. Now you can see where the 510, let me just get this back in, it grabs onto these two and it turns the juice flow in yeah. Now let's have a look if we're already opened. Just have a look at the airflow insert before we look at the deck. And you can see this is a 7 star. Yep. And you see you get this insulator with your 510, and that's where you got a spare one in. You mustn't lose it, but if you do lose it, you still got another one. It's quite protruding, so you can in theory use it on a mech mod. The airflow, you got another system of airflow, very similar to many bottom airflows. Yep. So there's got another, that's why I put it, I'm leaving here the 7th. The 7th is equivalent to 1.4 millimeter. If I find it's going to be too airy, I'm going to change it to the 5. Okay, so let's now open the deck. We'll have a look at the deck in a minute. Now, here comes the twister. You might see VG because obviously I lubricated everything. If you look inside, you can see how nicely it's domed, but there is another chimney in there that you can lower it to have a throated more or less. So we'll see that in a minute how it works out. The lower this section is the more mild the vape will be, and the higher, meaning all the way down, it's stronger. Now I'll show you what this is all about. In here you've got another key. Yeah, on here it says Spica Pro. Now if you look, you put it in, really you should put it in through your mouthpiece. So like this, the mouthpiece is a guidance. Okay, we'll see that in a minute. See, the mouthpiece stops it to go too low, because if it goes too low, you get a short. Now if you see inside, the whole chimney comes out. Yep, so you got a chimney within a chimney. This is the central chimney. Let's take off the glass. Now I put VG everywhere because to slide this off and on was a job and a half. So I put VG. So this is the main chimney. Yeah. And where you put in your juice. Now this is the second chimney. Now if I take this key, and you can see the inside is actually moving towards you. Yeah, you can see how it's moving, so it means it's lowering towards the coil. Now because you got the mouthpiece here, the stop will be right by the mouthpiece, because if you go further and further without a stop, what happens is you simply take this whole thing apart. And now you can see the second chimney. Yeah. So this is a dome that makes the vape so condensed that you will get super flavor and super. So you can see now, if I push this down a minute, you get it. It's like a little, let's have a look again. You see it's like a little, it's a screw, but here you've got like sort of, it grabs in into the top. So if you push it back down, and then you can turn it so anti-clockwise would open it. You can see how it's going away from you now. So it's increasing. It makes it the throat hit will become more intense the higher you go, until it comes to a stop. So it comes to a stop at the maximum high point, but it wouldn't come to a stop at the maximum low point. But we'll try this out and we'll see if I can tell a difference with the throat hit. So you see how it goes back in here. It's very easy. The minute you get the hang of it, it's so easy. And the machinery here is, everything is butter smooth. And just, you need to put VG on everywhere. And here it says Spica Pro. So we'll put back in the chimney. It slides in. It's like hydraulic. It's so, nothing here is scraping. Nothing here is. It's done very, very professional. I mean, the way it slides in, it just slides in. So let's put back the glass, and we'll put this aside. And let's have a look now at the deck. Now this is a fairly classic deck. I mean, it's very similar to the a bit of the K-Fons, more reminiscence I think to the Expomizer V4 and soon coming out V5. It's sort of this enclosed juice well with two holes, wicking ports. Yep. And you can see peeking out over here the 7-star airflow. Yep. And this should come off. I think, yeah, it should come off. I didn't try it, but it should come off. And there's a stop. And it stops as well on the maximum. So let's build a deck. Now what I'm going to use Nature Vape 1 ohm, a 2.5 inner diameter. You can see yourself what coil I'm using. These are very good coils. Yeah. I'm not sure yet if it's belly up or belly down. Let's have a look. I can do it perfect. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the screws. Everything here is very good machined, I must say. Now if you can see, there's a little lip over here. For me it's hard to see. You can see this two little lips that will hold the coil in place. I always like that. It does help when you build a coil. Oh, it is. Okay, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but my fingers might obscure your vision, but I just need to get them in. It's a fairly small deck actually, but fairly easy to work on. And then we'll straighten out the coil later. Just gonna tighten the screw. Right, I think it's in. No, it's not in. That's it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten it out. What we want is to be right bang in the middle. Yep, I think that's the best, perfect. So it's right above the airflow, not touching either post. Yep, let's cut the leads. And let's have a look. Let's get .99. So sorry about this extra few minutes, that but it just shows that you always need to find the right the culprit, not to give up. Not to give up. 0.98. I mean, this was a 1 ohm coil, so I think we're okay. So there was a few problems here. One, that the 510 you know, the piece wasn't in right, and I didn't secure it enough inside, so now it's steady. Okay, let's wick it. Let me just make sure that we're getting it right before I 0.98. yeah, okay, let me just make sure I tighten up the screws once more. Okay, now I'm gonna wick this. Now this is not massively big juice wells, but we need to make sure that we put in enough wick. Perfect. So let's have a look. The length of this wick, it has to cover, so I'll cut it down to the bottom of the deck. You see how I make myself a little dent, and now we're going to just check it to make sure perfect, so up to the O-rings, and the other side just make sure. Let me just move this a bit, fluff them up. I'll use this screwdriver to help me with the wick, get the wick in. Yeah, that's it. In nicely, so you can see everything is covered in wick. Now the other side. That's it. Perfect. So that's the way I hope it should look like. It's the first time I'm wicking this tank, so I'm learning as well. If I have leaks, or I learned already from the Golden Greek mouth to lung RTA, if you know what I'm talking about, the one that I had leaks with, well, I can't remember what was the name of it, Perseus, the Perseus from Golden Greek, the Perseus, that's the one. I had a problem that I had leaks. Okay, that was, I'm not sure that was a clone or was authentic, but I didn't put enough wick in the juice wells apparently. So this time I'm making sure that I've got enough wick everywhere, covered from side to side. I gave that tank back already, but this is mine, so yeah. Now the juice I'm going to use is Bright Leaf from Juice Cabin, Flu-Cured Sweet, because I've got it in my Pioneer, and I would like to know the taste, because I know this flavor so well on the Pioneer. It's got very delicate sweetness and nuttiness. It's just very good, naturally extracted all-day vape. You can watch my review on that one as well. I don't want to give this too much juice because the juice flow apparently is a very effective one. Now the thing is with this, so now we'll put back put the tank in, and we'll put in the juice, but you need to make sure that the juice flow is shut. So in order to do that, we'll just twist this further. You see, when it comes to a stop, as I said to you before, the inner dome, but if you turn the top bit, it will turn the juice flow closed, you can see. So this can be controlling as well the juice flow and the inner dome, the cap that goes within the inner chamber, for better, stronger throated. So this is an important tool. Okay, so let's put in the juice. Now this holds 3 ml, so okay, that's enough for now, and we'll close the cap. Now you don't want to over tighten it, that is for sure. Now there's another thing. When you do not open the juice flow, holding the tank down, you need to hold it upside down. So when you hold it upside down, the juice flow is going to be first open to without juice there. So let's do that. I'll now leave, let's say, one hole open. So you can see my juice flow is one hole open, but you can see no juice is there, so you have to hold it upside down. I wonder if that method would have worked on the Presus as well, Presus from the Golden Greek. Maybe I'll phone up the guy and I'll ask him if he ever tried that. And then you lower it down, but I think I'm gonna close the juice flow a bit more, give it one open. I don't want any leaking at all. Now we'll open up the airflow 3. So this tank is ready to vape. We'll put it on a mod. I'm sure you watched the review on the Ultrona Alieno mod. So let's see what ohms. First of all, .99. Yeah, 1 ohm coil, 16 watts. Let's give this a vape. Silent air draw, silent. I'm gonna just close this a bit. So easy to turn. It's just a pleasure to work with such good build quality. Oh, this is lovely. I mean, you can see the bubbles coming up. Yeah, you can see it's doing the job. Now if I want to close a bit more the juice flow, I just twist the mouthpiece. Superb. Superb. The flavor, the draw. Silent like my Fev, like the Bishop, like the K-Phone Light. I mean, it's a super smooth draw. What flavor! What flavor! I'm so happy with this flavor. Wow. Phew. This will stand up to my top mouth along RTAs. Right, I don't want to get carried away now. Let me use this for a bit. I'll use this for a few days. And then I'll finish off this review and we'll talk about it a bit more on the sizes, on the, you know, all the specs. I was eager to get it done and to vape on it because I was so looking forward for this tank. Okay, you see that this is still closing a bit. So you need nails here. I don't want to overdo it because that's it. I wouldn't overdo it because then you see I already broke my nail first trying to open it. So I don't want to overdo it. So as soon as it comes to a stop, you leave it. I left it a bit too open, I think. Let me open up the juice flow again. You can see how easy it is to control. See? Through your mouthpiece. It's even a bit too tight now. I'm going to open it another one. Now the insert is the biggest one, the 7-star. So if you want it even tighter, you can put in the 3. I think it will make this airflow redundant. It will make it so tight that it's going to be too tight for me. The 5, maybe I can get away the 1 millimeter. The 7 is perfect with the 3 open here. If I put it all the way, even all the way, you can't do a direct along. This is a proper, true mouth to lung tank, and I'm super, super happy so far. Right, okay. Oh wow, it's already 33 minutes. Good. I'm gonna leave it now for a few days, and we'll finish off this review. For you, it'll be just 1 second. Right, so you've seen the close-up, and you've noticed what happened with the 510 basics. One has to check if the plug is plugged in first before you call the engineer. Right, so my experience with this top mouth to lung RTA over the last 2 weeks, hassle-free. The wicking, the airflow, the juice flow, the flavor is defined just the way I like it. And this CHAK does actually work flawlessly. If you go to Sirius Mods, yeah, and check the website and download the manual, because you don't get the manual, I think, also not with the original. It's a very glossy, detailed manual, very nice indeed. They advise you when you want to intensify your throat hit. So you keep it that little cap fully up. But when you want more of a mellow vape, you do it clockwise. Now, when you do it clockwise, they advise you not to go below 1 millimeter above the mouthpiece, so you know you're fairly close to the coil. And then the vape is a lot smoother, like more of a mellow vape. But when I do it anti-clockwise till the top, there you go, stop. Going down is no stops, you have to be careful. That's why they tell you 1 millimeter above the mouthpiece. But if I go all the way to the top, you come to a standstill, stop. If I carry on, it will turn the juice flow. Then I vape. You can feel the throat hit straight away, the difference. It's amazing, and it does work, and it comes in a very convenient, that you can put it on a chain. This feature is simply outstanding. 1 minute. Some people like more of a throat hit, some people like less. So instead of increasing your PG or your nicotine level to achieve that, or to tighten the airflow, simple turn with a key. The design of this chimney, the inner chimney, the 2 chimneys, the inner chimney and the cap and the dome, is simple genius. I've never seen it in any other mouth to lung RTA. They increase, decrease your throat hit. The flavor is a bit more defined when the throat hit is stronger. It's not because it's a better flavor, it's just it's more intensified. That's all it is. See, this mod is the Alieno mod from Ultrona that I reviewed. It takes a bit of time to get used to the fire button. I'm used to the fire button being here. Just a side note. Now, there was another thing I've changed since the close-up. When I did the close-up, I will show you what I mean. Let me close the juice flow, and I'll take off the deck. I thinned the wick and I cut them shorter. After a day of vaping, I've noticed that It's not the perfect way I like it. So I changed the wick and I thinned them out and I cut them just below the 2 holes. That the end of the wick will just touch just barely those 2 wicking ports. So it was at least a millimeter, because I said in the close-up up to the O-ring was too long. Because the juice wells actually end by the 2 holes. Now another thing, this holds its juice. Watch this. No juice comes out because the O-ring is so flush against the thick 1.8 millimeter thick glass that I forgot to mention the close-up as well. And you can see how the whole dome is right on top. I don't want to change it while the deck is not in, but as you saw in the close-up, actually the dome moves up and down and increases or decreases the throated. Now another thing that is very important, when you top up this tank or when you change your wick and you want to put in more liquid, always keep your juice flow closed and then open it while it's on top. No juice there. That will save you from gurgling. Now I wonder if when I did the Golden Greek, the Presus, if that would have made a difference. I will phone the guy who owns the Presus and tell him about this method that works with this tank, and I would love to know if it works as well on the Presus. Yeah, because I had a problem with that. If you watched that review, I had a problem with gurgling. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was a clone or not, but this I know for sure is a clone, and is no gurgling at all. So I just took away the deck, the juice flow is wide open. And that is another thing I changed. Now there's 2 holes open instead of 1, because I noticed that it is perfect. It doesn't overflood, even if I keep the juice flow wide open, both of them, on a 70 VG liquid. Build quality, machinery is top. You know, the FEV that I reviewed is very similar in size, very similar in build quality. Both are machined perfect. Flavor wise, let's talk about flavor. Flavor is perfect, exactly the way I like my naturally extracted tobacco to be. You know, when you vape NETs, there is very delicate flavors in each one of them, and if you lose that, you just get a generic tobacco flavor. There is only certain amount of RTAs who pick up those very delicate back notes of the tobacco, and in order to save time in this review, I will just lift them all up. Okay, the Prime, the Light, the Bishop, the Pioneer, and the Lamo. Right, I don't want to go through each one of them, will take a bit of time. The Bishop holds 4 mil. This holds 3 mil, but if you use the acrylic, this will hold 4 mil. So size-wise is a big difference. If it doesn't bother you size, the flavor on the Bishop and the flavor on this are just as defined as each other. This is a huge plus for the Bishop, because this cost a fraction of what this cost original. Yeah, and okay, the Bishop is a top mouth-to-lung RTA, no doubt about that. It's one of my prized mouth-to-lung RTAs. But this one here, the Spica Pro, is superb in juice flow, in airflow. The inserts that I've got in here, this is a true mouth-to-lung, even fully open with the 7-star 1.4 millimeter is perfect mouth-to-lung. If you use the 3-star, or that's the 1 millimeter, or the 5-star, Yeah, either of the two that you saw in the close-up, you can get them as tight as you want. I mean, it's so tight, if you put in the 3, that's 0.6, and you keep this, let's say, too closed, you wouldn't, it's hardly able to vape. So the airflow here is highly, highly tuned. The juice flow works flawlessly. As I open it, straight away you see the bubbles. The wick is always moistened. It's flawless, no problem at all. Silent draw. If not for the crackling of the coil, you wouldn't hear the draw at all. Oof, what flavor. I've got the same juice in the Pioneer. This is the organic bright leaf, organic flue-cured sweet. Now listen to the difference in the draw. I'm not talking about flavor, I'm talking about the draw. Now listen to this. Silent. The Pioneer is a bit noisy compared to all the Bishop and the Fev and the K-Fons, but the flavor here on the Pioneer is superb. But you need to know how to wick it. This one is easier to wick. Do not follow my method I've done in the close-up. Do them a bit thinner, cut them a bit shorter, till the 2 holes, thin them out. They should go in, they should spread along the juice well, but not clog them in. I put them too thick, because I had that golden Greek pursuit in my mind all the time. I thought it will be the same idea with the juice flow, but no. These juice flow are more reminiscence to the Expomizer V4 and the V5 soon I hope to review. And the deck is also quite a bit similar with those 2 holes in them. So it's a very similar type of wicking that I discovered. So the right way to wick it is to thin them out and to cut them short just to reach those 2 holes, and you would have no problem at all. To sum this up, I looked at the Sirius Mods website, the original Turkish designers of this superb tank, and what they write, I put it below to sum them up. Designed for throated, when perfection met our passion. But you could reduce the throated by simple turn of this amazing CHAK, an amazing design of the chimney. I don't want to lengthen this review because the close-up I took my time to give this tank your full attention. You can see every single item. What could I say to sum this up? Hassle-free mouth-to-lung RTA, superb flavor, superb mouth-to-lung, true mouth-to-lung draw, and the juice flow works flawlessly by turning this key, the mouthpiece, flawlessly. Wicks like a champ, never had no issues. The only issue I might have is the cap. You have to put your nail in and turn, but the simple solution is that lubricate every single O-ring here with VG. You wouldn't have no problem at all. After a while, after you vaped it for a few days, it all becomes lubricated in any case. I'm talking about out of the box, put in your VG, no problem. It looks perfect on this mod actually, as a kit, but if a side by side, it's ideal because it's a nice size tank. I'll put all the specifications below, but to give you just a quick guidance, 47mm without the drip tip, 64 with the drip tip, 304 stainless steel body, 1.8mm thick glass that holds 3mm, the acrylic holds 4, reinforced nitride O-rings, laser cut vectors, CNC cut styling. You could read it all below. The innovative chamber adjustment for throated level is amazing, and it works. Trust me, it works. You get a much bigger throated, stronger throated, should I say correctly. Juice flow control by Mouthpiece, beautiful. Easy build deck design, you saw, very easy to do. Great build quality, great machining here. Everything is flawless. To sum it up, as they said, designed for throated when perfection met our passion. This is a perfect mouth-to-lung RTA for anybody who's looking for a hassle-free but top mouth-to-lung RTA, especially for naturally extracted tobaccos. And I fully recommend it for the price that you pay for this. Put in copy and paste Coppervape Spica Pro style mouth-to-lung RTA, and you'll see the price on certain websites. It's worth 5 times the money. That I can tell you. And to the guy who advised me to buy this one, thank you. You were spot on. I have no need now to buy the original at all. I can't see how could it improve if everything here is so perfect to me. And the proof is in the pudding. My experience with it over the last 2 weeks has proven to me that this is exactly the way I like my mouth-to-lung RTAs. If you have the same, or if you're thinking of buying one, or if you have the original, if you have the clone, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your experience. Are you as happy as I am with this Spica Pro mouth-to-lung RTA? I am very, very happy with it indeed. Okay, I think I concluded this review. Until the next review, take care, enjoy your vape, bye-bye for now.